Welcome back, people. Here we have another anime to review. We got the assassination anime Akame got killed. If you weren't here before, here's the format in which these animes are reviewed on. We're gonna start off with the story, so let's go. The story kicks off with our main protagonist Tatsumi, who has come to the beautiful capital to become one of the loyal knights so he can gain money for his desperate, broke village. But shortly after arriving to the village, he sees that it is nothing like it seems. As he finds out that the capital is a horrible, horrible place, he decides to join the rebel group, the Night Raiders, who are a special group of assassins who are there to take the heads of the most powerful people in the capital, in hopes that this will one day save the capital from its evil tyranny and he can save enough money to help his village. This plot is just a basic plot of the little rebels beating the evil empire. The whole notion of him trying to earn money to save his village takes more so of a back burner, but it doesn't really support any of the actions that the main character Tatsumi does. It's more so trying to overthrow the capital at that point. Him needing money for the village is something that kind of get the foot in the door in the anime so the rest of the story can play out. When it comes to the progression of this anime, they mainly stay on track through all of it. They don't bullshit you, they don't waste your time, and they know when to really put in them slow sections. Even though we watch the anime, it's more so obvious when them slow sections are coming, they still make the slow times relevant. One way they do this is by showing flashbacks, and unlike some other animes, all of these flashbacks are very relevant, very fucking sad for the most part, but all the information in the flashbacks is still important. The fighting in this anime is for the most part pretty solid. You can see some of the fights are obvious throwaways, but some can be actually pretty interesting. And that's because in this world, they have these weapons called Imperial Arms. These Imperial Arms can range from you being able to use a different ability, or it can be just a regular weapon, or a creature of some sort. Some of these Imperial Arms can be pretty creative, while some are kind of more simple. But even so, they're all pretty much broken to the point that if you fight somebody that doesn't have one, that motherfucker's dead. I'll give you an example. The main character, Akame, has a sword that has the ability that even if it cuts you, even slightly, it delivers a poison, killing you instantly. Basically a fucking Oko. And apparently Orochimaru made this goddamn sword because fucking up looking like Sasuke for the first couple seconds. This anime does get bloody at times, pretty bloody. Not too much, not gory, but it still shows a pretty good level of blood. And this anime has its fair share of just rough scenes. You'll see some of these, you'll be like, oh, can y'all take that off the screen? God damn, I can't watch this. Another good aspect is that death is truly real in this anime. You feel the fear of it in every single episode. And this anime does a very good job of surprising you. There were a lot of moments where I kind of planned out what was going to happen, and they kind of flipped it on me and took me by surprise a few times. Let's move on to some more of the bad things about this story. One thing is that this story gets kind of predictable in some of the events that they do. With some of the actions at first, it might get you off guard, but after a while, you start to see a certain pattern, and it really loses some of its sting. And this also leads to some very just sour scenes. And not sour meaning that the killing, I mean sour in the fact that sometimes it just didn't play out as well, leaving for some things to come completely left fucking field. And it just feels so unnecessary. You get the feeling they just didn't have to do it, but you kind of get the feeling like they did it on purpose, like they're trying to hit some quota. Like the anime is supposed to be played out a certain way, and no matter what, that they wanted to go that way no matter how it was portrayed on screen. This could leave scenes very just unjustified. Okay? Now let's move on to the character. Tatsumi in the beginning did pull off a few surprises that made you think maybe he's not gonna be like every other main character, but very soon you see that is not the case, and he becomes like every main character. Oh, he's so strong-willed, he's so determined, he's so innocent and ready to fight for righteousness. Yeah, that's basically what he becomes. And really, when it comes to a character trait, that's not a bad trait to have at all. It's just the basic anime trait. It doesn't make a bad character, it just makes a very an original character and can even get boring at times. Death is a villain in this anime, and I can say that she's a bit more interesting. She plays a role in this anime that's different from a lot of villains in other animes. I'm not gonna say because I'd be spoiling too much, but she plays a certain role that gets her into some of these situations with some of the main characters in the anime, and it makes it for some very good scenes that you wouldn't think you would normally see, especially in an anime like this. Because this anime, you can go from, oh, she's so adorable, to this bitch, overall making her a pretty likable character in the anime, and more so one of the more original ones that kind of stood out more. Now I gotta talk about Akame. She's the weirdest fucking character in this anime, and I'm not talking about her personality. I'm talking about just her presence in this anime. For a character who's supposed to be a main character and whose name is on the title, I expected her to play a much bigger part in this anime, a lot bigger. And yes, in this anime, she does have some key story sections that only she can do, but other than that, you really feel like she's in the background this whole time. So many times in this anime, the background character is just completely over fucking shadowed her. Once or twice, I swear to God, you can actually forget that she's in this anime. It feels like a lot of times they really didn't have anything for her to do or really say of importance. And on top of that, her personality isn't even fucking good. She says a nice word here and there, and she showed off her badassness, but there's actually really nothing to her. She might be the most shallow character of them all. Oh, but I forgot one thing. Oh, she likes to eat a lot. You know, you can't forget that quirk, you know? That quirk that's supposed to make her a fucking special fucking character. Fuck that shit. Bitch is shallow. I don't know how the fuck having a minor quirky trait about you makes you a fucking character. That's the only thing that you'll remember about her is that she likes to eat a lot of meat. All that meat. But this character is completely disappointing. You barely even notice her. She has no presence in this anime whatsoever until it gets to those times in the story in which she has to be in it. Other than that, she plays no part in this anime. And when it comes to a lot of characters in this anime, they are all such generic tropes. It is almost insulting. It's to the point that you don't even call them by their name, you call them by their trait. It's like, oh, there's the clumsy one, oh, there's the yonder one, oh, outgoing one, oh, the fucking sexual one, you know, shit like that. And it's so obvious, and for more times than not, that's all that they are. Yes, some of them have good scenes, yes, some of them at some point stepped out of that, you know, characteristics once in a while, but it really didn't go any further. Okay, that's enough of these generic tropes. Let's move on to the animation. The animation is basic, pretty standard, nothing really to it. One thing that I do feel like is a good touch though is these very epic still shots they do during some of the scenes. All of these look very well done and incredible. I can't show you a lot of them because, you know, it'd be giving a little bit too much away, but those are the only times when anything on screen really pops out at you. Everything else is pretty basic. Now let's move on to the music. This anime has some very fantastic music. This anime has 2 intros and 2 outros, and the second ones are both better than the originals. The originals both fair average, while the second ones really took it up a notch. Here's the original intro, and then here's the original outro, and now here's the upgraded intro. Yeah. And then the upgraded outro. The outro, not so much that it's like greatly better, but even so, still good. But surprisingly, that's not the most impressive music in this anime. This anime's best music is actually its in-anime music. And that's usually never the case. It's usually that the intros and outros are usually better than the music inside the anime. But this in-anime music is fantastic. Every score that they use, especially one. It's the kind of music like I could not help getting hyped every single time that they put it on. Cause you'd be sitting there watching and you'd be like, oh shit, somebody's gonna die. But one thing that actually dawned on me while I was making this realization is that this is how it should always be. The in-anime music should always be better than the outro and the intro, or at least have that much time put into it. Because that's the music that you hear most of. Usually when it comes to the intros and outros, after you hear it 1 or 2 times, you fucking skip them anyway. So you barely even hear them. A lot of these animes need to step it up and bring their in-anime music up to this level. Because it feels like a lot of time it's just forgotten about it. Just like lazy put in like just some random tracks that they found on some shit back in like fucking the 90s. But I'm glad it was important this time. Okay, that's it. Now let's get to the rating. For what these assassins have shown us, this anime will be getting a score of a 7 out of 10. This anime did have a lot of downfalls with it, with its characters and a lot of its sour scenes, some of the choices that they had decided to go with, but with the synergy of these characters, the good fight scenes that it boasted with their mainly good storytelling, a 7 is just about where this anime belongs. Well, that'll be it for the review. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and comment down below. And I'll be back with a review much sooner than before. My name is Downcast, and I'm out.